Arith, I have been asked a couple of times where the Turtles reviews are. And my answer is that I don't have enough knowledge of the Turtles overall, which manifests in me not really feeling I have much to provide in terms of discussion. I look at the Turtles comics I've got as comics for me. They are stuff I want to read in my spare time. They are escapism. I don't want them all to become things where I am reading them and I'm always thinking about if something I've just read or seen is worth talking about in a video. With that all said, here is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures issue 9 from Archie Comics. Archie did a 60 or 70 issue series with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that were focused more on being in the style of the 1989 animated series. A series which was my, and probably some of yours, introduction to the Turtles. A bit confused by the grammar there. Yours doesn't seem right. The Turtles cartoon was still on the air when I was growing up, unlike Masters of the Universe, or Transformers, or G.I. Joe, or Thundercats, or any of those things from the 80s that people love. I just don't have an awareness of TMNT anywhere near my Marvel or even DC understandings. But I can tell you this cover is a homage to the original Raphael one-shot, the Micro series as they call it. That was a very famous early Turtles story which starred Raphael and introduced Casey Jones. These Archie comics are incredibly different to those early Mirage comics, as you can immediately clock from the simpler, brighter art. I love the art style. To me, the Turtles have always been this ridiculous concept, and I do enjoy the Eastman and Laird comics I have read, but I like the juxtaposition of these cartoon characters with ninja shit. The Turtles should be colourful and a bit cute looking. It furthers some of the more satirical or parody ideas that they offer. The other thing is that these are tying into a cartoon. Our style guide is not the Mirage stuff, but the cartoon. And I don't want to get too defensive of the art that I think one or two of you will say looks crappy. It works for what we have here, and that is what is important. One thing that the Archie comics did was that it introduced a lot of new enemies for the Turtles, most of them being anthropomorphic. This one introduces a guy that I have always been surprised didn't really cross over into other versions of TMNT, because it is quite a natural opponent for them. We have the Chameleon. No, not the Spider-Man bad guy, you silly sausages. Why would he be appearing in an Archie comic starring the Turtles? The Spider-Man villain is definitely worth mentioning up front, because the Chameleon we have in this is an industrial saboteur who infiltrates government buildings and steals classified information and sells it on. Shredder wants the classified documents that the Chameleon stole, so he sends Rocksteady and Bebop after him. So here is the Chameleon again. It's a very funny book type of thing, But I love him being cockeyed. His eyes are never aligned. It's just a fun little design detail. It's so simple, but I like it. He is escaping pursuit by Aiden in the sewer, and so here is our turtles again. And I need to explain something else about the Archie comics. There is a lot of environmentalist themes in these stories. Here we have the turtles comment upon the amount of refuse in the sewers. And if you hadn't already shut off with the art style, you'll probably switch off there. That stuff is incorporated quite well. It's never feeling like a PSA or worse, indoctrination. It's acknowledging things like pollution. And something I really like about these stories is that within the framework and setup of what appears to be a children's book, we do go some surprising places, like wholesale slaughter. Part of the fun is seeing what and how much they can get away with in a book like this. Yeah, you can't have the turtles fuck April O'Neil, but maybe you can get away with a cheeky joking one about one of them fingering her. The chameleon, he hides his files in the sewer. Look at that. The close-ups of his face. It's just fun. Comics don't have to be deadly serious or grown up. Something like this. It's a very basic story. It's executed as it should be. But there's charm and there's fun. And yeah, so here we have our heroes meet up with Rocksteady and Bebop, with the chameleon in the middle. And now the turtles, they fight a member of the Foot Clan in a robot spider thing, while Rocksteady and Bebop run off with the chameleon as a captive. Shredder, or the Shredder if you prefer, he tortures the chameleon to reveal where he stashed the files. And Shredder uses his mutagen aerosol canister to transform the chameleon into a literal chameleon. And now, with the abilities of an actual chameleon, the chameleon escapes by camouflage. I mentioned the Spider-Man villain before, and I mention him again here because not only do the two chameleons share a name and the background of being saboteurs, but one of the things with the turtles is that it can always fly the excuse of parody when it comes to something being similar or inspired by another comic book thing. Of course, the whole thing, the turtles, they were inspired heavily by Hank Miller's Daredevil. And we have the Foot Clan, which are named in relation to their counterpart in those stories. So maybe yes, this chameleon is deliberately taking some cues from the Spider-Man enemy. But now we have, of course, introduced the transformation, which makes him a bit more uniquely TMNT. I feel bad because I've not really focused on the action with the turtles. And I should probably talk about how the Turtles cartoon was censored over here to remove a lot of ninja weapons. Well, that can be another video if I ever decide to do one. It came up because here we have them throwing ninja stars at Rocksteady and Bebop, which would absolutely not be aired on British TV in the early 90s. I think the chameleon is quite a decent idea as a Turtles character. It makes a lot of sense. It's a very good idea for them, but the chameleon doesn't appear, I don't think, in any other version of the Turtles. He did receive a profile in the Archie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Andy books. The chameleon gans back to the sewers and retrieves the files. And the turtles, they aren't even aware of what has happened or gone on here. The chameleon returns the stolen documents because he has come to learn that some things are not worth profiting from. I think there is always a need for comics like this. Something that can simply be enjoyed. Maybe this has been a one-off detour into TMNT. Or maybe there will not be anywhere near the amount of people saying that it looks childish down below, and I will be encouraged to look at some more. The Muty Misadventures of Coke and Pepsi is a version of this you are all building up in your heads based on gut reactions. This is harmless, breezy cartoons. I give it a 7 thumbs up.